All right, me Algebra 2 friends. I am coming back from you once again back at the original location that I've been recording at. My wife kicked me out of her office, so we're back here. Anyway, we're going to continue to talk about some of these equations. You can see, obviously, which one we're talking about. We're talking about what law firm is famous for sneaky legal tricks. Now, before we get there, I wanted to get you the answer for this previous one. Did you hear about? And it was the fish who decided to quit smoking because it didn't want to get hooked. There it is, right there. All right. Didn't want to smoke because it didn't want to get hooked. All right. Now, the answer to this one actually is my favorite answer of all of them. I don't think it's necessarily the one that I find that people really get is the funniest. But what law firm is famous for sneaky legal tricks? All right. So here's the difference with this sheet versus some of the ones that we've actually done here. Now, we're following the same steps as we did on this previous Did You Hear About sheet, right? So we're going to follow these 4 steps. To find the least common denominator, to then multiply that with every single term, and then we're just going to reduce it and then finally solve it. All right? So let's go ahead and take a look at this one here on the law firm paper. A couple things that I want to point out to you. Let's see here. What can I do? All right. I'm going to do number 5 here. There's something that I want to show you here with number 5, and I guess let's take a look at, just to give us a little bit of space here. Let's take a look at number 11 as well. All right. So number 5 here. Let's kind of zoom in. Let's see what we got here. We're going to follow those same steps. I'm not going to write them down, but what we're going to look for is this least common denominator, and that again is the number in which is the smallest number. The smallest number. I wanted to think about how I was saying that all 3 denominators go into. So I have a 3, I have a 6, I have a 2. There it is, 3, 6, and 2. And you can establish right here that my least common denominator is a 6, right? So when I'm taking a look at this here, I know that I'm just going to be multiplying a 6 with each one of them. I can see what actually cancels out here. One of the reasons I wanted to show you this one right here is because of this minus sign. This is going to come into play with some of them that you actually see. Sorry about having that paper up so high. So right here, let me talk a little bit more about this minus sign. This minus sign has to be applied to both of them. So when we're thinking about this, we need to make sure that it's left in the parentheses right there. All right, that's going to come into play when you actually take a look at some of the evens on your paper. All right, so notice I've made that happen. I've included a parenthesis there to go ahead and finish this out. So when I do this here, it looks like I'm just going to have 2n minus n plus 11, right? I'm getting that just by distributing that, right? And that just equals 27. Looks like I then have n. I could subtract 11 from both sides. N just equal 16, right? Always nerve-wracking. The teacher working on a problem, making sure that the answer's there. There it is. Letter Y is 16 for number 5. All right? Now, here's what I want to do. When we're taking a look at some of these here, and most especially on number 11, and this will happen in some cases for yours on the right-hand side, we need to sometimes factor in order to find this least common denominator, right? So I'm going to take a look here at number 11, and all I'm going to do here is factor each denominator if possible. 3 times the quantity of k plus 5 this second denominator does not factor. So again, no need to really write that down, and there is no denominator on the bottom of the third fraction, right? So I need to make sure that my least common denominator has every single factor from all bottoms of the fraction. So look at this. This right here has two factors. I'm going to write both of them down. The second denominator, it also has a factor. Do I already see it right here? I do. So there it is, right? And then again, that 2 does not have a denominator, so it will not play into my least common denominator. So here we go. I'm going to take a 3 and the quantity of k plus 5. I'm going to take a 3 and the quantity of k plus 5. And again, a 3, this is 2 times 3, and the quantity of k plus 5, right? The next step that I've done is I've just tried to cancel things out. So again, right here, this denominator is no longer there. I'm factoring it. I'm looking at that 1 on the bottom. The 3's cancel, and so do the k's plus 5. So it looks like I'm just left with that 10k right there. Let's take a look at the middle fraction. The k plus 5's cancel. Nothing cancels with the 3, right? There is not a factor of a 3 on bottom. So it looks like I have a 3 and times 4. Remember, anything that's left over from your least common denominator gets multiplied with whatever's left on top. Right here I have my plus sign. Notice this is 3 times 2. And then it's times k plus 5. Some of you might just make that 6. That's okay to do that. So here we go. 10k equals 12 plus, and I'm going to distribute this 6 to both terms just to kind of save a little bit of space. 6k plus 30 right there. Alright, now it's time to solve it. 10k equals 12 plus, you know what I should have done is I should have just combined those, right? So 12 and 30 just makes 42 plus 6k. I can move my k's to the same side. And it looks like 4 times what is 42? Well, that means it looks like it would just be 10 and a half, or another way of expressing 10 and a half as an improper fraction is just 21 halves. Okay, it does get a little bit hard, I guess, yeah, there to see it. But you can see what our answer is, and in fact, it's right there in the camera. Letter E, 21 halves, is the answer for this. All right, this is the last video that I'm going to chat with you guys here before spring break 2020. I know it may not be the ideal spring break. I know it's not ideal for me, but I hope that you're able to enjoy it. Take 2 weeks off of eLearning, not worry about anything. Again, you will still have a chance to post some assignments during that time, but this will be the last time that I speak to you through this interface until you return from spring break back in the middle of April. Until then, I bid you adieu.